Okay, I will call this meeting of the Sunny County Commissioners to order for Tuesday, December 7th. Let's begin by Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, please join me in a short prayer here. Heavenly Father, we ask that you be with us today, give us the wisdom that we need in order to do your will as it relates to those people we represent. Today's a special day in our history, and we want to remember those who perished in Pearl Harbor 80 years ago today. It reminds us of how precious our freedoms are. So with that, please remember all those men and women who are continuing to protect our freedoms and their families. We ask all of this through your Son. Amen. Yeah. Okay, Teresa, you have something for us. 2 announcements basically today?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you. Yes, I'm announcing that I am retiring. So you guys finally get rid of me after all these years. So
that means a lot for the budget because we've got a big adjustment to make now.
Unfortunately, no, because somebody is taking, the position.
Okay.
And this, I'd like to introduce Sarah Muchler.
Sarah, welcome.
So you'd like to say anything, or?
Just it's been a pleasure working with Teresa, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you.
You've been here like a while, right? A month? Or?
A little longer than a month,
okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Keep up the good work that Teresa has began. She's done a wonderful job, at least in the 8 years I've been here. I don't know what you did before that, but those have been pretty good.
I just started repairing thing when you got here, so you saw the best of it.
We may have you here before the final day.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming over.
Thank you.
Well, the next time we talk to you about retirement, hopefully we have a adult drink in our hand.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Mine
Okay.
think alike.
David Zach, you almost got on the agenda last Thursday, but you didn't quite make it, and here you are again.
Your roll call?
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's do that.
I get the elbow here.
All right, now, let's do roll call. Hit it.
Commissioner Kirschner,
I am here.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Here.
Commissioner Shaw.
Here.
So while we're at it, we might as well accept the motion to approve the digital audio video recording of both board sessions, actually, we should do.
Yeah, neat.
From last Thursday, both the 10 o'clock meeting and the 7 o'clock meeting.
So moved.
Okay, second, we got over here, hit it.
Commissioner Shaw,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner.
Yes. Okay, now, David.
All right, now I'm on, right?
Yeah, now they've got me, figured out here and I'm on cue. Let's do it.
All right, so I've been asked to kind of recap and the process that has led us to have the commissioners consider funding a rural broadband strategic plan for Seneca County. So the origins of this go way back to 2017 when we had worked with the previous commissioners on investigating that at the time when the fiber ring was going to be done, and we had worked with the COG and the ISI at that time, potentially do a study with a well-known national firm. I got very excited about it because I think that, and it's only been shown to be more the case with the coronavirus pandemic, that broadband is absolutely necessary, not only for economic development, but as we have learned, for education, and fundamentally for it's as important as water, sewer, and electricity and gas in terms of quality of life. So when the ARPA money was approved kind of at the end of last year, and there was some indications earlier in 2021 that the state was looking to potentially invest some of that in broadband, in March I sent the commissioners and some others some of the proposals that we had gotten back then from Magellan, as well as some others that I had talked to since then about what would something like this cost. And I said at the time, hey, if the commissioners ever want to consider maybe looking at something like this, I think it would be a great idea for economic development as well as for quality of life. Fast forward, it got some traction. Tony and I met with some of the private providers along with some others, and we put together a plan of how to go about doing that. And the idea was to create a rural Rural Broadband Task Force, where you would invite a representative of each of the villages, a representative of each of the townships and the school districts, as well as private providers, to come together and basically develop a request for a proposal to get a plan, and then go through the process of evaluating those proposals and selecting a firm and presenting that to the commissioners. For some crazy reason, Tony thought that was a good idea. And then I felt very, very strongly at the time, that we needed partners in this. That in order for this to be done well, we wanted to partner with the COG, because I had a lot of confidence in what they did in 4 years ago to be able to manage the study. And COGs and ESCs have a track record of doing this, and I knew we didn't have the bandwidth. And so after about 2 months of saying, hey, I really want you to do this, if you'd be willing, they kind of stepped up and said, yeah, we'll be a partner with you to manage the study once somebody's selected. And then, so we got very excited about that, and had our first meeting on August 23rd, and we had like 27 people. We had a lot of townships, we had villages. Commissioner Paradiso was there, and many, many others. I went through a draft request for a proposal that I put together. We got a lot of good feedback. Over the next week or two, we got additional feedback. We revised the request for proposal. We sent that out. We got more feedback, and we revised it a second time and finalized it. And really appreciate all the feedback that we got. But we felt really solid about what we were asking for. And what we were asking for was 3 things. We wanted a real, a very accurate assessment of the status of broadband in rural Seneca County. And we wanted to know, because the map, some of the federal maps you can get, if one house is covered, oh, we cover this whole census tract. So the existing maps don't necessarily cover it, figuratively and literally. So we really want to know where we're at. Number 2, we want a strategy to get the infrastructure out to where it isn't, and to make it available to every household in Seneca County and in rural Seneca County. And then last but not least, whether it's state funding or federal funding or local funding that the townships have or the commissioners have, we've gotten some inquiries like, how, all the private providers say, me, give me the money. Like, how do you invest that strategically and wise? And if you wanted to do it, how do you set up a program to be able to do that well? And so the third component is advice and benchmarking of how you set up, if you wanted to invest that money into broadband in rural Seneca County, what are some of the guidelines you should have in order to do that effectively? So those were kind of the marching orders. And we put that proposal out on September 23rd, and then we closed it on October 25th of this year. I was out heavily recruiting. I was Google searching anybody that had done broadband strategic plans and rural broadband strategic plan, and called them. And we got people from multiple states around the country, because as you can imagine, this isn't somebody everybody can do. It takes a degree of technical expertise as well as many other things to do this well. So we ended up getting 10 full proposals. Those proposals, which had both, it answered all the questions in the request for proposal, and as well as what it cost. And we sent all of those out to the entire Rural Broadband Task Force, and we said, if you're willing, rate these on whether you think we should interview them, maybe we should interview them, or don't want to interview them. And we ended up picking the top 3. There was a clear kind of dividing line where everybody was like yes or maybe with the top ones. And we invited them. One of the top 3 firms kind of backed out on the weekend, and we had the interviews on November the 16th. And we had a number of folks there representing, I think, every constituency. So the schools, townships, villages. Tyler was there, really appreciate that, Commissioner Schuff being there. Beth Deach was there, Charlene Watkins was there, and the private providers. So you had Rick Eccleberry from Sycamore, you had Nate Brickner from Bascom, you had Charter One, Brian Young was there as well. So we felt we had good representation. There were 12 people, 10 to 12 people or so. Mr. Township down over there, the Adams Township was there as well, and of course John and some of the other crew from the COG. So we listened to them, we kept it tight to an hour. They had about 20 minutes to present, and then 20 minutes for questions and answers, and 5 minutes for introductions at the beginning. And it went really well. And then after they left, we went in the room, and where they go in to choose the Pope, and we weren't going to leave till the white smoke emitted. But at the end of the day, it was a pretty strong, more than two to one picking of a group. Ice Miller leading a consulting group. They have a lot of strength in funding. They have a lot of strength in strategy. Ice Miller is a law firm, but this is their consulting group. But they partnered with an engineering firm, DLZ, which has a lot of expertise in this area, which you need to have, I think, to do it effectively. And then last but not least, Thomas P. Morrison Associates, which is going to do some of the surveys. So some of the data they're going to collect is they're going to go do surveys of the houses and the folks to really get a sense of what the broadband strength is or lack thereof. And so that everybody, generally it was 10-3 agreed this was the group we should go to, and nobody said I would object to either group. They were both, very, very strong, and so we felt comfortable. So we kind of wrote that up. We informed everybody kind of what the deal was, and then sent that out and updated the group. And so I feel really good. That proposal is $81,148. The second place one was about 76. So I mean they were in the ballpark. Because you got to get the areas of expertise. It's not just let's be strategic. It's you got to really dive in to know the data and know what you're doing. So we are very comfortable that we came to the best possible group. We had folks submitting from multiple areas. That's kind of my presentation. We would strongly recommend on behalf of the group, and maybe some folks here that were part of that could kind of talk about the process, see if they thought it was fair, if they thought it produced a good result. As part of your consideration of how to potentially invest some of ARPA funds, got to work through some of the logistics on when that actually happens. And then at the end of the day, it'll fold in within the overall comprehensive plan of the county, because one of the items in the comprehensive plan that you all have approved was rural broadband. And so this is one of those, but we're going to be very actively involved in implementing some of the specific initiatives once this plan gets developed. So I don't know, Bill, do you have any comments about the process quickly?
Just quickly, great process, I tell you what, and we're looking forward in the townships to be able to start moving forward with some broadband to help this. As John alluded to before, when kids are home and the time difference between receiving information stuff from what you have in cities compared to the rural is substantially minutes and even half hour stuff on that even as a job. So I think it's important that we continue to move forward with the broadband for the rural area. Thank you.
John?
I just want to stress that broadband, IT, the internet, is not like a luxury. Some folks think of it as a luxury. It's a utility. You have to have it. It's like water and sewer, electricity, gas to heat your house. It's a much needed basic utility anymore. I have an 85-year-old mom. She can't do anything anymore with paper. It has to be. I have to go there with my laptop, and I have to do work with her to fill out forms that are on the internet. My wife teaches second grade in Fostoria. When they were out with the COVID and all the stuff, some of those kids did not have internet access, and so they floundered then when they came back. So from an 85-year-old mom to a second grade student, you need internet. It's a utility. I thought T-STEP did a fantastic job with the search, doing all the getting good people to the table. I feel very comfortable with Ice Miller, Whiteboard, Ice Miller, the law firm, also DLZ, and those folks. The thing I really liked about their proposal better than anyone else, and I'll leave you with this, is that not only it's a comprehensive study, but it's a blueprint to go after more funds and more money to implement the study when it's done. It's not just, and they said 4 or 5 times, they don't want to study just to prop the door open. They want a study that you can use as a blueprint to go after a lot of money. And as we know, there's a lot of federal money out there that's coming out to America. Why not use it in Seneca County? So that's why I'm here for any other questions as well. But thank you for your time. And we look forward to helping with this. We love this. We love the project.
Yeah, we're excited, John, that you're going to be picking that up. Tony, what are your thoughts, having been there from the beginning?
Well, when I was a kid, I remember watching Walter Cronkite and Lyndon B. Johnson Commissioner Kirschner can relate to this. And Lyndon B. Johnson came on television and he said, "We will have electricity in all of Texas." And I remember that as a kid. And so I agree with all the comments on the utility. It's just in 20 21, not to be able to, even where I live, the internet service is not very good. It's just, there's no reason not to have that. And I think as commissioners, this is the best thing we could do for the entire county, because there are a lot of segments, there are a lot of providers, there are a lot of townships, a lot of villages. People are coming at me, hey, will you do this? And we're not really in the broadband business as commissioners, but we do want to facilitate and help the quality of life in the county. And I think, you know, supporting and funding this study, especially the way you guys did it, is money well spent by the commissioners for the citizens of the county. And then as this takes off, we'll be able to lay this plan out and let different parts of the county and different players do their thing. But I'm pretty excited of the work you did, and I want to thank you for all that work. And yeah, we'll have to get with the prosecutor and kind of work out how all that's gonna, all the paperwork needs to be worked out. But I support this 100%.
Yeah, I think it's obvious that we all will support the process. As Tony said, we do need to cover a few things statutorily. You know, there's a limit as to what we have to do before we have to bid it. You talked about requests for proposals. I don't know, I assume we spent on RFQs and then RFPs, and we ended up with 2 after all said and done.
We had 10 that submitted for
Right, but it'll have to be
proposals, and then we
final,
had 3 finalists,
You
and
said
then we
3 of them.
interviewed 2.
Okay, very good. Yeah, and I agree with,
It was well vetted.
I agree that, I think we've been through the process, but we just need to make sure from a legal standpoint, we've got everything covered for the county. I mean, it's a prime example that the county government does not create private jobs, but they put a process in place to allow it to happen. And that's what we're doing here. We're just allowing it to happen. We're not creating anything. And that's what we want to be here to do. So we will help facilitate that process as we move forward. I don't remember the numbers, but I think they're somewhere in the $80,000 range.
81. It's gonna be close to 90 when it's all with the
Okay.
administration
So,
and everything.
that's above our threshold for bids, so we will check with the prosecutor and get that process going, but we'll get it going quickly. I appreciate the fact that the COG's involved, John. That's always good to partner. And I appreciate all the work that Tip and Seneca Economic Partnership has put forth so far, and my fellow commissioners.
There were some really good candidates there, and I mean, it's one of the bigger issues that I get from constituents out in the county, in the rural areas. They want to have that high-speed internet, and I remember growing up in Eden Township and Bloom Township. I mean, the dial-up, and I mean, I remember what internet was like out there when I lived out there half-time, but I was really impressed with who we got to interview, and just we had some strong players come to the table, and I think it's important to our citizens.
You remember that little screech before you got it?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
I do have one other thought, looking at the sheriff with you here. I think EMS, as we talk EMS and dispatch and safety and everything you're doing, that's also just to have improved broadband throughout the county will only enhance those services as well. So there's just so many benefits of doing
I
that.
love how you're doing that, and mental health and telehealth. There's just so many things that are,
Yeah,
the impact will be significant.
so.
Okay, appreciate it. Any other questions from anyone in the audience? Thank you, David, very well done.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Your
Look at a few more
commissioner's
things.
leadership on this and the COG.
David, do you have a few more things you want to bring up while you have the floor?
Sure, well,
Rapid fire.
well, heck.
While you have the floor.
Sure,
Commissioner Kirsch is in a good mood right now.
So, we are very happy to go out and try to get money for things that we think are important, like rural broadband. So another thing that I've been working on this fall is potentially doing a new comprehensive economic development strategy. So this is an economic development strategic plan. The last one was done in 2011. It was county funded, worked through GLCAP at the time, what was WSOS back in the day. It's called the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy if it has a good housekeeping seal of approval from the feds. So if you want to go after federal EDA money and all the economic development money for the American Recovery Plan and all that stuff, is tons of it is flowing through the EDA, Economic Development Administration. So you need this, and you need it stamped. So at our retreats every year, we aren't using the plan anymore because 11 years old, I mean, they last for 5 years. I've squeezed a lot of juice out of that lemon, and it's, I think, in the last couple of years. So we did, through our organization, we went out and talked to a number of firms, and the one that we liked, which is also a university center, which has a special kind of status with the EDA because they get EDA funding and can be an advocate, is the Center for Rural Development, based out of BG. Does a lot of stuff out in Northwest Ohio. Does this kind of thing. And the cost for getting one done is about $53,000. And it depends what your territory is. But in a nutshell, I worked with Russ Mills over there. We're going to get half of that, not guaranteed, but half of it funded through the EDA Technical Assistance Grant. So that cuts it in half. And then you have to have more than one county. So we had discussions, and I've had discussions with Sandusky County, and their commissioners are in support of doing and they're going to pay for their half of the half, which is a quarter. That leaves us with a quarter left. And so what I thought made a lot of sense is, a lot of the county's activity occurs in the city of Tiffin. So I said, wouldn't it be great to do partnership with the remaining, was it 13.5 or 12.5?
13 and a quarter.
13 and a quarter, whatever it is. Wouldn't it be great if we partnered and split that again? So the number I have, if I'm not mistaken, is 6625 for the city and the county. I've already talked with the city administration. It's going to come up to get approved in the budget on the 20th of December. We've had those preliminary discussions and submitted the information so they can consider it. And so what I would like the commissioners to consider is approving 6625 to be a partner with the city on our fourth of the study cost. I think it's great, should be great to have that again, and I think it will more than pay for itself.
Okay. I think we got the math figured out, half of a half of a half.
Yeah, it's 1/8. It ends up being 1/8, believe it or not.
You're the banker, we're all looking at you, so.
Yeah, so 53
We all
times
look at you when it comes to
Yeah, yeah.
this.
divided by 8, that's the number. So
Would this
I
be
was- it's
you
20%.
guys doing the contract and we would just give appropriate
Yeah,
the
so
money to
actually,
TSAP?
yeah, yes, I think, yes. Yep, and so the Center for Regional Development will have a contract with us, and then they'll have a contract with the Sandusky County Economic Development Corporation.
And where's that money come from, administrator?
It would-
Carryover?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Would the contract go in effect yet this year or beginning of?
No, I mean, however you want to do it, we're not going to do it till we get EDA approving
Okay.
it, but we are not going to, so it's whatever works for you.
Okay,
We're certainly not going to pull the trigger on starting anything until next year,
Okay.
so whatever works for you would be fine.
Well, I think we could tell you that verbally, we are in favor of getting this done. We won't take any action until it actually comes up as a contract, which probably will be after the first of the year.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Commissioner, you like that?
Got to plan our work and work our plan.
Okay.
Now tell us something's not gonna cost us any money.
What else you have, does it cost you?
That
That was loaded.
costs money. And usually when I'm here, I talk a lot and I don't ask for money. Well, this is not so much me asking for money. This was something, so this is different. This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity. So,
How much?
No, it's never a problem, it's always an opportunity. Okay.
so Mike, I'll ask for advice this time. No, so this is about the website. So we did a process similar to the rural broadband where we had originally kind of 4 partners, and it was the county, it was the sheriff, it was the city, and it was the Tiffin Seneca Economic Partnership. And we did the same kind of thing. We put together a request for proposal. We met with everybody in advance, got the requirements, made sure the proposal was right. And it was like, we knew everybody was going to kind of individually do it once we got there, but we thought if we bring it all together, we want someone that can connect us all. as well as someone, you know, that we all, you save time and effort if you know, if you're to go out and search for state and national firms for websites, you don't have time for that. So we said, we're gonna do it for our organization. We knew we had to do it. It's been something I've been wanting to do, but we're gonna fund it. So I said, okay, who else would like to do it? Because I had the city and they were like, hey, well, we wanna do ours. I'm like, okay, we'll just open this up. And so we went down this road and we got a lot of proposals. So Nick Dutro from our organization ran point on this. And we must have had, I think we had 12 different proposals. And then we sent those out.
In a box.
In a box, yeah. We got hard copies as well as electronic.
Okay.
And then everybody, we had a scoring matrix actually, points like for, do they do good work? Do they think they can connect? Do they meet the needs? You know, all these different criteria. And so we took all those scores and then we ranked them. And we ended up interviewing 3 of them. One of them was by Zoom because they were far away. And so we ended, actually, we talked to
Almost
5.
five.
We talked to
Yeah.
5, sorry. Yeah.
It's like it was all morning.
We talked to 5, it was all morning. I think
45 minutes
I had
each.
therapy for that day. But, yeah, we had 5 we actually interviewed. And same kind of format, it was an hour. Or no, they were 45 minutes.
each to the minute.
45 minutes to the minute, yeah, we
They
keep a
kept
tight
track.
ship. We keep a tight ship. And then we all sat together afterwards, and much to our pleasant surprise, we unanimously agreed that the best firm that we all wanted to work with was also the least expensive. Now, prior to doing the interviews, the county had said, you know what, we don't think we have the budget for it, so you guys go ahead, we'll be okay right now. And so we went through our process, and we certainly respect that, and, you know, et cetera. We went through the process. When it was the least expensive one with the least expensive ongoing maintenance cost
Yeah.
with full support, it was like, okay, then I'm like, Stacy, I want to make you aware of this and make the commissioners aware that, you know, because they were up to, some of them were like,
A couple $100,000
yeah, like
was the high end.
expensive, like 80, 50 to 80.
And then the maintenance
tops.
every year, yeah.
And the maintenance, and sometimes it was very expensive. So this was like, so I came and I said, hey, within this overall proposal, the county, to completely redo the counties and make it top notch, would be like $15K, which was at one of the absolute lowest. And the ongoing costs every year, $1,200 a year, which for full support and maintenance and everything else, just to keep it on the internet is $400 to $500. So it's like they were great. They were firm out of the Akron area.
It's local, yeah.
And
So 15 would be the county share, not counting the other
that's correct.
Entities, okay.
Yeah. So I think yours is
10.
10.
Yeah.
And ours is 2025, and I forget what
Cities was higher.
cities was a little higher. So
30.
what's that?
30.
30. So I think we all felt like they really looked at what the folks said they would want to use it for. So this isn't, you know, it's not going to hurt us, but I think it's an opportunity where we were able to, through a proposal, get a firm we wouldn't have never found. Where they can come over here in person and do things from Ohio.
One of the things that really attracted us to the top group was they're gonna have a theme that like is gonna weave throughout all of our web pages to connect them, but they're not gonna be similar. But they're gonna, and we looked at their previous work or whatever, and we kind of got the feeling that they get what we were asking for. We don't want everything to be the same with the city of Tiffin, the sheriff's office, the commissioners, because we're not the same, but yet we are sharing the branding and we're sharing the same collaboration efforts, but that's why the decision was made.
Yeah,
But
and I think that's another strength
Wasn't
of
a cookie
doing
cutter.
it. Another strength of doing it is if it's something the commissioners would want to do, they're going to come in at the same time and meet with all the folks. And as they're building everybody's, they're going to figure out how to connect them. So that makes sense. Because, you know, the public don't always know exactly where they want to go to get what they need, right? So we can have that experience as a resident or a visitor or anybody else interested in the county, kind of be able to come in. It'll make you look great. It'll be very functional. You know, at the end of the day, how much are people doing online? They're doing a majority of their communication and contact and trying to find out information online.
Have we
So-
had complaints about our website or any issues or?
I know ours have, you know, with not having enough information or forms or
Right.
the ability to easily move from ours to yours or, you know, back and forth and stuff. So this kind of interconnects everything and makes it an easy one-stop shop kind of thing.
Yeah, and I would say we don't get complaints about ours, but I know ours isn't where it needs to be.
Yeah. There's
So
a few things.
let's hear from Jimmy, our
kinda
PR,
talk about
social
it
media guy. What?
Yeah.
What are your
So, I think our website could potentially look better. In talking with Stacy, we kind of talked about the budget this year, it being tight. Looking at, you know, more than $1 million in requests that we had compared to what our revenue was. So it was just something that kind of fell off. I mean, I think we can do work on our website maybe for a lesser cost than even what we're looking at with this. We have a couple of inherent problems at the county. You know, it's not like the city where the police department's underneath city council and the mayor. You know, the sheriff has his own thing, the auditor has their own thing. I mean, the treasurer has their own thing. We can't make them do anything. So as far as the county goes, you know, how many people are typing in senecacounty.ohio.gov and going to our homepage? Really, where our traffic comes from, it's being driven from social media. And so they're going to go to an article, blog page, you know, post page, whatever. And, you know, I think that looks fine. I'm all for, and I've talked to Nick Dutro about this kind of at length, like no matter what happened, I told him even from the beginning, I didn't know if we were gonna have this in the budget, but what we will definitely do is work towards that interconnectivity that we're talking about. And I'm hearing a lot of like general discussions about what that is. I'm not sure what that means, but you know, if it means keeping links and logos to all these other departments, we're all for that. Right now we have that, you know, could it be cleaned up? Absolutely. Is it worth $15,000? Maybe if the budget wasn't as tight as it was, it would have been an easy choice, but you know, between Stacy and I, this is where we were at on it. So if you have more questions, I mean, we spent a lot of time on this. I probably spent like a full work day going through these 12 proposals, which were each, you know, 20 to 70 pages.
Yes.
And we scored them, and I mean, some of them were really impressive firms. But I think at this point, between Stacy and I, that's, you know, we kind of felt, you know, we're not sure if it's worth the 15,000 plus the upkeep of the 1,200. So, but we can discuss further if you want.
We have a lot of other projects that, I mean, we have $5 million worth of stuff that needs done at the sheriff's office, setting priorities. 15,000 could go a long way for some things.
Right, and the question is, are there complaints? I don't think so. I objectively think it could look a little better. It could be a little more user-friendly, but I think it's something we can handle internally at pretty much no cost.
Okay. Next. That's it? All right, we should have, yeah. Okay, it's your time, I guess, Stace, to administrator's report.
I don't have a report
Hey,
today.
Johnny.
Thanks, John. Okay, very good. Commissioners?
Yeah, wanted to congratulate the Cary Blue Devils there on their state title here for their football championship that they just won this last weekend. Friday we had the Christmas tree lighting, very well attended, a few hundred people I think there in attendance, so that was a nice event to go to, seeing Township Trustee Mr. Frankert there, and got to catch up and chat a little bit. Also, yesterday we had the OSS Solid Waste District Policy Committee, so got to meet with the commissioners from Ottawa and Sandusky, and we went over some stuff with Gary Beatty, so that was a well-attended event. Got a meeting with Mirchaw here from the sorry.
Mental health.
Mental health, thank you. Yeah, I need to work on mine here. And then last half of this week, we have our County Commissioners Association of Ohio convention, so looking forward to that. This will be my first one that I'll be attending. I enjoy going to these kinds of things because we see what people are doing around the state, what works, what doesn't work, good networking opportunities, and kind of like taking some of those classes and getting a little education, so excited for that.
Yeah, and, I'll start and then let Tony talk, but we had I think, did you mention the Christmas tree lighting ceremony and hundreds of people? I think they said I was amazed at the number of folks that showed up downtown for that. Tyler represented us, did a good job. As far as the winter meetings for the Commissioners Association of Ohio, this is the second year in a row that Seneca County's actually been represented as a speaker. 1 year because of the Board of Elections and the cooperation that existed there, and this year because of Senate Bill 52. Coincidentally, you know, our senator, Bar Reineke, is the person who actually sponsored that bill. So it's nice to know that our county out of 88 is recognized for some of the accomplishments, and we'll be doing that Thursday. Commissioner
Looks like-
Paradis.
looks like
And basically, what that means, he's a featured panel speaker at our countywide association meeting, so.
The county is represented.
Jim?
It's actually, I think it's 3 years in a row because Commissioner Thomas went to talk about public relations the
Okay.
previous.
Oh, yeah.
And it might have been, because of COVID, it might have been like 4 years ago, but, or
Yeah,
3 out of 4, something like that, but, yeah.
good.
We lost a year last year.
We lost a year, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that's good. Two things, I just, Pearl Harbor Sheriff, you're a veteran. Those World War II guys are just unbelievable. So Commissioner Kirsch and I both have uncles that were killed in World War II and then are buried in Europe. And we talk about this quite a bit.
Yeah.
85 million people died through that whole World War II. You know, we just have to thank them. The only comment I want to make is on EMS. I felt we had Trustee Frankert was there, all of us were there. We had a pretty upbeat meeting on Thursday night with EMS. I think the takeaway from that meeting, knowing that there are 10 townships and 6 villages that want to move forward, that the consensus was, hey, let's do this, let's think big, let's do it right. And clearly 4 strategic EMS squads throughout the county would be better than something other than 4. The cost will be a little bit higher to the taxpayers because of there are fewer people that have chose to go forward. But it was a unanimous feeling at that meeting that we have to do what we have to do, and let's get into the weeds and work this all out, and then crunch some numbers and see exactly what it's going to cost. But when it comes to EMS, I think we talked about broadband as a necessity. I think we can all agree that if you need 911, no matter when, where, it's that's something we have to have. So I felt really good. I know we have a lot of work to do, but we left that meeting with consensus of those elected officials that, hey, let's fast track this, let's get moving on it, but this is the path we want to go down. So we'll see how that turns out, but I want to make that comment because I thought it was pretty special.
I was encouraged as well. I mean, we had every district -1, all the villages. You had 2/3 of your townships basically in. So I mean, I think we're gonna take off here and get this thing going.
Okay, do we need to talk about 2%, 1%?
I have that, we can do that under old business or
Okay.
just add the resolution to new business. It's up
You
to
do have the resolution here?
No, I have it.
Oh, you have it,
Yeah,
okay.
I have it.
Yeah, let's do it under old business and get that behind us. And,
Okay.
you want to read the major parts of the resolution, yeah?
Yep, as we discussed last week, you guys had approved doing a 2% increase for all the departments, and then also a 1% as a one-time supplement. So the addition to the general fund will be $147,566.11, and that is for the 2% to go onto the budget for 2022. After the first of the year, at a carryover, we will do the 1% as the supplement.
That includes the B2 contract?
Yes. Yep,
I thought for every percentage it was right around 100,000.
it's about 100,000. Yep, just a little under.
Okay, very good. Then we can go on with new business.
Yeah.
Any other old business?
Is that separate, are we okay with that? Do we already agree?
Do you wanna go ahead and vote on that?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve, as Stacy read, 2 + 1.
I'll second Commissioner Paradiso's motion.
Any additional conversation? Hearing none. Kylie?
Commissioner Schuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner.
Yes.
One thing on old business, just We put together just a quick letter to Bascom Joint Ambulance District, just letting them know that the commissioners have agreed to extend the 90 days. So it'll be May 21st, 2022. I had Kylie pull the title for the ambulance that they were requesting, so she's got that pulled, and I'm working with Derek to get the other language. So I'd like to send the letter, just
The letter
allow
will have conditions in it, is that correct?
the contract.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So the letter is just basically saying that we're allowing, we agreed on the request to extend it for another 90 days.
Okay.
And then
The
Derek,
contract will be included with it.
the Derek will be working on the contract and with the squad and the cot and the, timeline for everything else.
So we will be able to see the contract before the letter goes out? Is that?
Well, the letter just says we're extending it from the original date to May 21st, 2022, is all this letter says. And then we'll do the contract with otherwise, because you guys have agreed to the May 21st, 2022. Do you want all included in the letter?
Yeah, I just don't want there to be any confusion or ambiguity about it. Yes, we have agreed till May 21st, that's true. But we agreed with conditions. I just think if the letter says that a contract, assuming
There you go.
that the Bascom Ambulance District agrees to the contractual covenants that will be forthcoming, that it's extended till May 21st.
Okay.
I like that. That's kind of where I was going with it.
All right.
Well said. I like that.
Okay. Well, then we'll get the
Okay.
contract done.
So we could send the letter out with that caveat.
Okay.
And then Derek will circulate, we'll all have our input.
Oh, yeah.
on it. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
That's all old business.
That's it? Okay, let's go on into new business then.
Okay, new business. So I have a supplemental appropriation request for the Hammer Heinzman Sewer District contract services line for $2,020.26. This is to pay the cost allocation, again, for the Hammer Heinzman. The line didn't have enough to pay that cost. My next one is request from Regional Planning. I think we discussed this last week about the Melmar Park, so an additional $16,589 into the Melmar Park upgrades line. I have supplemental appropriation from Juvenile Probate Court for their Allen Irie Guardianship Fund. 210 for PRS, Medicare 25, and salaries 1,500. And then I have supplemental appropriation for, this is issue 1. When it was presented to us the last, it was a month ago, it was put into the wrong fund. It was put into the 1202 fund, and it should have been the 1203 fund. The auditor's office is called to have us make that correction. So it'll be a supplemental appropriation for $1,321,268.19.
This is no new money, no old money, this is just simply a transfer.
Yep, yep,
Yeah, they had that conversation in the
yep.
meeting.
So then I have resolution authorizing the amendment for resolution 19-240, expenditures for public safety from the local government funding for 2022. This was the contract that we had done back in 2019 for 20, 21, and 22. Laying out the expenses for the different districts. So since we're changing the districts, we're just amending what we're doing for 2022, taking some of those costs back out of the resolution.
We just need to check on the spelling of amendment.
Oh, is that just on the, oh, it's wrong on the resolution too. Resolution entering into contract with Seneca Industrial Economic Development Corporation, doing business as Tiffin Seneca Economic Partnership. Their contract ends December 31st of 2021. So this is a new contract. It didn't have a renewal, automatic renewal in it. So this will be for January 1st, 2022 ending December 31st, 2024.
This is one we received a few weeks ago.
Yes. And there was no increase. They did not ask for an increase in their fees. So it is the $89,000 a year.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I have a resolution, this is regarding the opioid litigation. I've gotten several emails. They're asking us to do an emergency resolution, needs to be done by today, to accept the material terms of the One Ohio subdivision settlement pursuant to the One Ohio Memorandum of Understanding, consistent with the terms of the July 21st, 2021 National Opioid Settlement Agreement. Do you remember we did one for the big three? I
Yep.
don't remember the big three words. This is for the Janssen and Johnson & Johnson.
Are we getting closer to ever getting a check from these folks?
Slowly
Yeah.
getting closer.
Send them our account number and Baker Alley
Yep.
number when you.
Yep, we keep signing these agreements saying we'll take your money, but haven't got them yet.
You know, it's gonna be
It's in the mail.
Yeah, it's in the mail. I have a resolution entering into contract with Vasu Communications on behalf of the Seneca County Sheriff's Department. This is for, and I can probably let Sheriff, he'll explain it better than I can.
So the dispatch center has two Z-Tron systems. And if you've ever been out there for a tour or whatever, it's the big panels that they sit down in front of and have all the push buttons.
Yeah.
Sort of looks like the command module for the NASA or whatever. That's how old the technology is, from the 60s and the 70s. It was brought out to the new facility from the old facility. And it's way past its lifespan at 35 plus years. When we did our movement to the EOC and they used their equipment there, we had to unhook everything. And I'll show you some pictures of that, wires everywhere. When they put it back together, some of those parts hadn't been touched for decades, because when they put it in there, Mike from, who was with EMA at the time, was one of the original people that helped put it in there, and how he works for sound systems.
This is back when Johnson was getting electricity and.
Yeah.
Texas.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, when he talked about
I remember
even he was scratching his head telling me, I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to put everything back together. He did, yeoman's work, but we're having problems. And we knew we were gonna have to address this upcoming year anyways. This is just making it get ahead of the schedule and moving it to the top of the list, because we're having radio communication problems with the EMS, specifically yesterday during an emergency call when we toned out 401 Bloom Scipio. They had to call in several minutes later. We heard the tone, but we never heard any of the chatter afterwards, the talk. And we play it back, we can hear it on our end. She did everything she was supposed to do. They just heard the tone, but didn't hear the talking over the radio to go to this residence and blah, 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 which then delays the movement. So if they wouldn't have called in, it would have been more minutes and stuff like that. So they can't track it down and figure out where those wires are. So we need to move on from this system, not only for that reason, but both Fostoria and Tiffin have a telex system, which is touch screen. Everything's wired into that, not the hard buttons anymore. So it's all software driven and broadband driven. And then they've gone to digital. Tiffin just went a month ago. Fostoria went earlier in the year, like February or March. So we're the last to move to that area, and we haven't prepared well for it. So this year we did like half of our radios in our cruisers are done, and I think all our cruisers are done, but a couple. And then our portables need to be changed over as well, because right now we can't hear, scanning wise, anything from Tiffin or Fostoria, which is a safety issue, not being able for our dispatchers to hear what being dispatched, or for the guys out on the road, guys and girls out on the road to hear that. So that's another part of the equation of going digital at the same time that we're trying to go to the telex system from the Z-Tron system, and all under as fast as we can go. Vasu can get us there probably within 12 days. We'll be operating on tables like this, so it'll be temporary until the actual desking units can be ordered. They're built as the orders come in, and that'll be 12 weeks. There's nothing pre-made about them because of the sizes of each of the dispatch centers are different. And getting any quotes from other places is almost nearly impossible at this time because I called around and they're only servicing their existing customers that were already in the queue because of the supply chain problem. So they're not willing to give any quotes because those are null and void after 30 days anyway, because all the pricing is going up. You know, as we sit here and talk, you know, the pricings are going up. So the faster we decide on this the SUE contract, the faster they can get the 12 days started. They have the parts and the pieces. It's just a matter of putting it on the schedule, sending their people over here, disconnecting what we have, connecting into the new. It'll pretty much mirror what's out at the EOC system now. So that's helping that, you know, that's already kind of a map of what we need to go to. And then we will have redundant systems with Fostoria, Tiffin, and us all being on the same telex system, all being serviced by the SUE. And then the only wait then is for the actual desking solutions that's built into this contract, that they will come back and then put everything into the desking solution so that we're not looking like we're on card tables, you know, for that much longer, for 3 months.
So we've got a backup at emergency management,
At EOC.
emergency management. How does that affect that backup?
It doesn't. The backup worked while we were out there.
Okay.
So
even
while
though you're going from one type of a system, you know, plug and play basically,
Yes.
to something that's digital, that will still work as a backup?
yeah, EOC is already there.
Okay.
We're the only ones left that's not
Okay.
to the telex system.
Got it.
So we're the last piece of the puzzle to get back to everybody communicating with each other again and hearing each other and
So we just had a big upgrade at 911, right? I mean, last year or so?
Yeah, that's
Spent a
the
lot of money.
actual
Is
911.
that tie
backbone of the
into-
911 hard system or whatever. That's nothing to do with
Doesn't
this.
tie into the dispatch.
This isn't the
system.
toning of the ambulances or the fire or anything like that. Yeah.
Got it.
Now, will he be sending me a contract, or is he just okay with signing this
I
quote?
saw your email while I was here. I sent you back there. I will find out as soon as I go back to the office and let you
How
know.
much are we talking about there?
It's $63,414.
Okay, we're back into my old question.
And it's allowable because it's technically an emergency and it's under 911, so we can, and that will be, we can pay for this out of the ARP money as well.
Good,
Okay,
okay.
I have a question on it. Break this down for me. So I was out there with you, right?
Mhm.
Here's the dispatch room. So we have the hardware piece,
Yes.
like getting the room, and then we have the software piece.
Correct.
Because this is we're talking about Bascom.
Correct.
So is that 60-some thousand, is that for everything?
No, that's the
Okay.
software,
That's
that's all the
all the
labor,
backroom stuff.
all the pieces and parts that they need to do to go from the old hardwired. Each of those buttons have a wire that goes to it.
Yeah.
It has to go through a switch now and then a software code into your
So when you're talking 12 weeks, that's another number?
12
we have
weeks
to
is,
pay
they're
for?
about 34,000. I sent her that quote
Okay.
on the
Yeah.
desking
Now we're
solutions. That are there. And then another piece of the puzzle will be what, and I'm getting that number to her, what are the other portable radios, and if there's one or two more car radios that are
Is this
out
part of
there.
the 5 million?
Digital, no. Oh, is that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we're,
No, but this is like $100,000
yes.
price tag.
Yes, for a complete new
Okay.
dispatch center that's very similar to what we did at the PD 8 years ago or 9 years ago when the left side went down and then we had to replace, that was a Z-Tron system as
Now,
well.
on Commissioner Kirsch's question with 911, if a 911 call comes in, it goes through this,
Correct.
it will go through all this.
Correct, it's pieced into that,
That's
that's a
a
piece,
whole-
the PEACE app, the public safety app, and the 911 is all built into what we're upgrading. Those have already been upgraded, so those just plug and play right into the new system.
And I learned something, this is kind of a question because I'm not 100% sure. But when we pay our phone bill, so much money goes into the 911 fund.
That
So
was
that's not
for,
really our,
yeah,
we don't
No,
really
we
pay
that's
those.
not this one.
No,
Commissioners, yeah, this
Um,
is a sheriff, you're,
Yeah.
This is the actual hardware and the,
Yeah.
yeah.
okay.
The 911 fee that you pay on your cell phone bills, it goes into a fund that the county has to, and that's what we use to pay for the fiber ring, the it was like a $500,000 system to get us all on the, a new upgraded 911
And there's
system.
significant money in that. I think we spent a lot of it, but
Yeah.
it's starting to build up again, I would think.
Yep,
Because
because
then we'll have an
they,
upgrade that'll
yep.
be due with that.
Yes.
Is that
Yep.
how that works?
Yeah.
Okay.
We only get, I wanna say, maybe 80 a year in that fund, so it takes a while to get that built back up,
Yeah.
but.
After this, okay, as far as your requests go, are you with radios and technology and dispatch?
That,
Sticking to that
so I
arena?
think you've wrung as much as you can out of the 35 years plus of
Yeah.
a Z-Tron system. Yeah, the dispatch center will be completely, day one, brand new, no requests needed from them, or on the road for the digital, because that's where all the departments and sheriff's offices are going towards, the digital part, which is a clear based, I mean, if you listen to the Fostoria or the Tiffin, traffic now, it's like, you don't hear any of the static that you hear or anything.
And everybody has their phone, right? I am responding, all the individuals.
Yes, that's still built
Firefighters.
into this, the telex system, stuff
Okay,
that
so if
that I
I'm
am
in,
responding.
Republic and they get toned out and it comes over the loudspeaker in there,
Yes,
is that,
it gets toned, they hear the traffic, but they also get it on their
On the
phone,
phone.
the comments that the dispatchers enter, fire on County Road.
and there's been a delay in some of that, is what you're
Yes,
saying?
yes.
Okay. I got it.
And there's been
High
actual,
level.
no communication, voice communication, they hear the tone, but they're not hearing the respond to County Road 32 for a barn fire,
Actually, I
they're not
was
hearing
there.
that part.
I was there last week when that happened.
Okay.
In Republic.
And it's on,
Okay,
it's only
on
on,
their phone, but they didn't.
it's on it, only on a couple certain channels, and Sound Solutions, Matt Gray, John Spar, they can't figure out why, and this will circumvent all that.
We need,
Okay,
that's in here.
we beat that horse pretty good.
Yeah,
All right,
So the only thing left would be the desks, but we need to get at least a second quote, that I have to have another quote.
yeah, and I've got Vasu working on that, and
Okay.
if they can find somebody.
So we have a comparison for audit, so that's,
Is that part of this?
yeah, last, I got one more thing
we
here.
have one more thing. I have a resolution entering into contract with Be Safe for access controls and cameras on behalf of the Seneca County Sheriff's Department, and authorizing Mike Kirschner, President of the Board, to sign. We had talked about this when Sheriff first came in. Obviously there's some liability. They have issues with some cameras. We don't have cameras in certain areas. We held off on this project,
Yes.
hoping that our grant would cover it. But we had talked about at the beginning of the year that this was definitely a priority. If you wanna.
It's the top priority on the wish list of, now that we know we don't have the grant, Stacy and I sat down and decided, a punch list of prioritizing what we could do with the money that you guaranteed us to fix those fixes in the jail and stuff. And this is like, between this and the bathroom issues and the shower issues, this is probably the high one on the list.
And again, this is ARP money, because we've used ARP and CARES for other cameras in the county, different buildings and departments too. So this can be covered under ARP.
Okay.
Because of the log jam of waiting for, basically since like April to October to just see if we got the grant money that would pay for this.
Right.
It's one of those liability issues that you sit there and say, okay, hurry up, let's get this.
Well, hopefully they'll make an announcement, yeah, hopefully they'll announce that there'll be more money available and we'll get right on it.
Yes, the word is that the same money or more is gonna be offered next year that we can apply for that grant.
That's what we're hearing.
And then we'll have the big ticket items, to put in for, like we did this last year.
Okay, so
I'm done.
I'll accept the motion to accept the new business, including supplemental appropriations, resolutions, and contracts.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Any additional discussion? Kylie?
Commissioner Schutt,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner.
Yes. Okay, the time has come for public comment. Anybody have anything they'd like to offer, Jimmy?
Not seeing anything in the chat, but obviously if you'd like to come forward, you can hit the unmute button now.
No hands up?
Nope.
Okay,
I like to say sheriff.
yes, Sheriff.
So I've been going around and about to the township meetings, trying to get to as many before the end of the year as possible in some of the council meetings. I got Foster Council tonight, just kind of giving them a wrap up, letting them know what we've done and where we're at and what we're looking forward to do next year for everybody. So far, it's been pretty good. I've been about 5 of them in a couple council meetings. But at each of them, I also want to thank the county administrator and the county commissioners for the support that I've had this first year. I can't believe we're in the 12th month of the first year already. And the fixes and the repairs and I know that it can get old, you know, that I keep coming with my hand out or whatever, but I truly think that to have a public safety that's encompassing the 552 square miles that I'm presenting to you, what needs to be done at the sheriff's office to have that same type of what we're arguing for the EMS that's countywide, that has a response time, that has adequate personnel and has adequate equipment and stuff. So you have my, you know, gratitude for everything that you've done for the sheriff's office, because it just goes to the helping what I asked for when I ran, is to lessen the liability on the residents and on you and myself, so that we don't have lawsuits or have the lack of training or equipment that is necessary to do the services that we provide. So thank you very much.
Yeah, well, I know this isn't a mutual admiration society, but, you know, but we certainly appreciate all the hard work that not only the sheriff, but also emergency medical services does throughout the county. I know there's a lot of, not only employed folks, but some volunteers out there that are helping you with that as well. So God bless them and thanks for the work you do. I got my blue light shining, brother.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Hearing none, Tony?
Just one quick thing.
Yes, go.
Did the gentleman that came a few weeks ago with like the air purification sanitation machines, did we get anywhere with that, or did? 'Cause I know he's going to talk to you and John, but
Yeah, I think he was, I thought John updated us on that when we had our capital projects meeting. I'll have to follow up with him, but I think there was, yeah, there was something that John gave us an update on that. I'll get back to you.
thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry. He might.
I know he looked at
I'm
it.
trying to refresh my memory a little bit.
Yep, I'll talk to John, but I think he gave us an update. I think the major thing was the ongoing expenses going with a system that high tech. You know, we could do a good system with the ongoing maintenance not being quite as expensive. I think that was it, but I'll check and let you know.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Jimmy, nothing else?
Our next meeting is
Next meeting is, in fact, it'll probably be the last one of the year, although we have one scheduled
next Thursday.
next Thursday.
We have the
Today's the
16th
7th,
and the
so it'll be
21st,
The 16th and the 20th, the 21st, some
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yep.
We have one set 16.
Tentatively, we have one scheduled the 27th, but we
If we
probably
need it.
won't.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of, okay.
So we have the 16th, which is next Thursday, and then the 21st is a Tuesday because of Christmas.
Yeah.
I still need to schedule a ride with you guys out there at the sheriff's department. You still have the same number?
Yes.
911?
Yes.
Don't call 911.
Have them come and pick you up.
Yeah. We'll pick you up.
All right, we are adjourned, 11:03.